What's going on, Cine Pals? I am Andrew Flash Gordon, and I am joined by my co-host, Courtney Scott Wright.
Hello, hello.
And joining us from a galaxy far, far away is Jabby Kaway.
Jabby Kaway. Flash Gordon.
And we are here to react to the Season 3 finale of The Mandalorian. If for any reason you have not checked out our first 7 episodes that we have reacted to, why don't you go ahead and do that? It's up on the channel right now. And then come on back to the season finale. And yeah, if you are watching on YouTube, you will get a cut down version of our reaction, as we can only show you a limited amount of picture-in-picture of the show. But if you want to watch the whole thing with us, no cuts, no interruptions, please head on over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/JabbyKaway or become a member of this channel. You will get access to the full uncut reaction, but you will need your own Disney Plus subscription so you can sync up with us. But don't worry, we make it really easy for you. For those of you watching on Patreon and memberships already, we thank you so much for your kindness and support. You guys are truly the best. For those of you watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and use the force to hit the like button so you can let YouTube know that you are enjoying what you're watching. Courtney, Jabby, you guys ready to watch the season finale?
Let's do it.
Commence season 3 finale.
Forged from Beskar alloy. In but a few moments.
By the way, those are not Knights of Ren.
They're not?
No, they're not. There was a lot of comments.
Oh, yeah. People let us have it in the comments so bad about that.
Really?
Yes, they're not the Knights of Ren.
Axe, come in.
I copy.
Whoa.
Use the capital ship as a decoy. We can't beat them in the air. We have to beat them on the ground.
Understood. I'm entering upper atmosphere, but I have my orders.
I don't trust him either.
I don't know if...
I don't trust anybody.
Everybody's suspect today.
Everybody's sus.
Ooh. Nice.
Oh, that was a nice transition.
Yeah, that was
very
cool.
Star Wars-y.
Yeah.
Say, you gotta do something.
Oh!
Wow.
He shaked his ass.
Nice. Ooh.
Nice.
Ooh. Ooh.
Don't give up now. Come on, dude.
So close.
Mechanized Grogu. Yeah.
Second time he saved him.
I was waiting for that to happen.
We can't keep running. If we don't take out Moff Gideon, this will never end.
Badu.
You with me?
Yes. Aww.
Why didn't he hit the yes button? Come on.
I know. Like, yes.
Maybe it would have undercut the drama because yes is a little bit comical.
Whoa.
That's cool looking.
Wow.
That is sick.
That's dope.
That's so cool.
The fighters and bombers have launched. Their capital ship will soon be destroyed.
But the Mandalorian has escaped.
Oh, Grogu's little green dot.
I'll take care of him myself.
I shall deal with him myself.
It's very Darth Vader.
I like this music.
The communications log says that's where he operates from. That's where we're going. Let's go.
That's such a cool shot.
Leave the capital ship behind as a decoy. Katan needs our help. I'll take care of the cruiser. Everyone go. Move.
Is he gonna sacrifice himself?
He couldn't communicate till he was like right on the ship. Like there was no.
Well, there was no
he tried to communicate earlier, but it kept on going static because of the storm.
Well, when he was in the clouds.
Yeah, that's when it was going static. He tried to communicate.
Oh, maybe not.
These are some cool shots.
Yeah.
No, that is cool.
But where is the armor? Now you got me convinced.
This is music we like to hear in the club.
What? They just swap places.
So he is the only one there. He told him to go. Wow. I didn't see him sacrificing himself.
He's using the ship as a decoy.
So we're gonna lose the other guy that we lost last week, pre-Vizsla, I think it was, and then this guy.
God, that sound effect never gets old. Ooh, Phantom Menace vibes again.
Deactivate the first shield.
Nice.
Damn.
Over the shield! Over the shield!
Got some CQC going on. Nice.
Whoa! He was trying to get the knife back.
I know.
Next shield.
This is so cool.
Nice. Nice.
Whoa.
That was
Okay, now
nice.
he's got some weapons.
Yeah, so much better than last week.
He's like, I don't need no dark saber.
Uh-oh.
Something's amiss.
Oh, no. Oh,
What are you doing here?
Police! Police!
R5. Next shield. R5.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Whoa. Yo, that was dope.
That was
I love how
really
harrowing that
good.
felt.
Wow.
Oh,
Shoot him off.
Yeah, fly away.
Yay! Get out of there, R5.
that was almost inconvenient.
I understood that reference.
They look similar. From a distance, they all look like the same face.
That's not Gideon.
I thought they were all Gideon.
Those are his clones.
I thought that's what the case was.
Wow.
Uh-oh, he's gonna eyes open.
Oh!
Let's go.
Wow.
What? They're not all gonna come after him, are they? That would be crazy.
Well, they set that up with Dr. Pershing earlier on in the season with the cloning, right? So.
Oh.
I've only ever seen gardens in the domed cities. I never knew the surface could still sustain plant life.
All they need is room to grow.
Lady Kreese, your reinforcements have arrived.
The armor?
Oh, okay. There she is.
Boy, they went all out in the budget in this episode.
Yeah, especially
That's
showing
cool.
Mandalore. They look like jets. Wow.
That is a dope shot. I got goosebumps, yo. Yo.
Wow.
Whoa. Man, what if we get thrown at the end of this episode?
Whoa.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
This is some kind of an aerial play. I love it.
And it looks so good. Even the speed of it, everything
Wow.
is happening.
Normally we see ships in aerial battles, but that is so cool.
My clones. We're finally going to be perfect by adding the one thing I never had. The Force. I was isolating the potential to wield the Force.
Oh, that's why he wanted Grogu.
Whoa.
Who's giving him Beskar?
My guess is the armor, but that's just my guess.
Oh, shit. They
So
back
now,
for
who
more.
are these guys supposed
I
to be?
think the Petroian guards or something like that. It's not the Knights of Ren. I just know that. Save him.
No.
Get away from him, you.
Jump out of your little body.
No.
Oh, damn. The door is closing.
Oh. He's gonna have to get out of IG.
Whoa.
I love that she's just beating people with her hammer. She's just bludgeoning dudes.
Wow.
That was cool.
Yee.
Here we go.
Here we go. Come on, Grogu.
Little feet.
Ooh.
It's really nice choreography.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa.
I've got this. Go save your kid.
Bo-Katan Kryze.
I'm gonna finish this.
Yeah. I think she's gonna have to delete Moff Gideon this time.
So maybe nobody turned.
Whoa, Grogu.
Maybe none of the Mandalorians turned. Maybe he was just mining Mandalore.
Oh!
Oh. Damn. He be shaking everybody in this episode.
This reminded me of Revenge of the Sith at the beginning when the ship was going down with Anakin piloting it.
Hand over the Darksaber, and I'll give you a warrior's death.
Don't you die, chick. No.
Oh!
What?
What?
The Darksaber is gone. You've lost everything.
Whoa.
There we go. I'm so glad he didn't go down with it.
I know.
That would have been silly.
Oh, is that gonna hit Moff Gideon, that ship?
Yeah, it takes a whole ship to take him out.
Wow.
But where's Grogu? Can you please go get him?
Whoa!
That little shield protected them. Okay, perfect. Oh, because they got the armor on too.
Another happy landing.
Oh!
Wow!
What? Yes! Grogu for the win! Woo! Little dude came through. Oh, you know he needs to be a Jedi. You gotta let him go.
That is such a cool visual effect.
It really is.
Wow. Wow. Grogu for the win.
He's like, I'm tired.
Yeah, exactly. I was waiting for him to just pass out.
Where's my IG-12 suit?
Like, I need a vacation.
Yo, I'm gonna need you to get my chair.
I need the vacation.
She's going in the water. She's gonna see the.
Guess I was wrong to suspect
what was it called again?
The mythosaur?
Yeah, mythosaur.
He is no longer a foundling. Add him to the song.
He is too young to speak, so he is too young to take the creed.
Oh, he looks sad.
If his parent gave permission, couldn't he then become a Mandalorian apprentice?
Yes, but his parents are far from here. If they are even alive.
Then I will adopt him as my own.
I was going to say, you pretty much already adopted.
I mean,
yeah, I thought that was already understood to be the case.
Let it be written in song that Din Djarin is accepting this foundling as his son. You are now Din Grogu.
Oh, wow.
The mythosaur. I think I'll give him a little helmet because I'm not ready for that.
Oh, right. This is the bar from that other episode.
Oh, right.
With the character from Rebels.
Let me buy you a drink, Mando.
Oh, is that Dave Filoni in the hat?
We really appreciate what you did. You made our jobs a lot easier.
Oh.
We've both been chasing Moff Gideon. You would have gotten him eventually. I just got there first.
Whoa.
You want to work for the New Republic.
On a case-by-case basis.
You know, this is against regulation. It'll never get approved.
Which is why you won't tell them.
Let me think about it.
You already did. What I want in return is that.
Scrap assassin droid head?
I need it for parts.
Oh, so they can put the IG totally back together.
They rebuild them?
Greetings, citizens.
Wow.
Your new marshal. Your new marshal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of weird to me how that entire town has like 20 people in it.
It's just like that shot from Boba Fett, right? With him and Luke. Rick Famuyiwa, nice job, buddy.
Maybe this is spoiled to ask for, but I wish the quality of this episode was there throughout the entire season.
I was thinking that too, yeah.
Not that they all have to be like this climactic, but like just the quality of it, you know? It was done, overall I feel positively towards it. It's just that there were some episodes where I was like, now that this is finished, I really don't know why we spent so much time on that one episode where we were developing the villain, whatever her name was, the one that worked for
Elia Kane.
Like, there was an entire episode given to that, and I was like, I don't know that that was wholly necessary now that we've gotten here, but it was cool. Like, overall, I enjoyed it, you know, and this episode especially. I would rewatch this episode in particular, and especially that fight scene. It was so harrowing. It's like, that's a really, really well put together fight scene because he's not just blowing through them. He's vulnerable. He falls down sometimes, he gets hurt sometimes, and there's like this exchange that's going on. It's a very interesting choreography that you're able to follow. You can see what's going on because of how it's shot, and you feel for the character as he's going through this fight. It's great.
No, I thought it was amazing. I mean, from all of the, not just the action, but just the scenery and like what we saw, all the flight, like when we saw all the ships. Do you know what I mean? Like the battles that came, like when
just the scale of it.
Just the scale, like the overall scope of it. Like when the Mandalorians left and then the Imperials came out, like it was awesome.
Just to echo your sentiment, Jabby, I agree. I really wish, again, you can't expect every episode to be on the level of scale of an epicness like of this episode. I get it. You put everything into what you got, especially the last 2 episodes or so, and also maybe even the first episode. I really do feel this season was not as much up to par as seasons 1 or 2. That being said, there were still some episodes I really enjoyed. This one in particular, I really liked a lot. It was a really good finale. I thought that episode 2 with Jack Black and Lizzo, I thought that was, again, it was cool to see all this.
The best episode of the entire show so far.
The best episode, everyone's favorite. But I mean, again, it's not just that the episode wasn't that great. And I really got to say, too, it was really new and inventive seeing that action sequence where they're all on jetpacks and fighting. Because normally, again, we get aerial battles with actual ships. So seeing like them on jetpacks fighting each other, I thought that was such a cool new thing to bring to the Star Wars universe.
I think I disagree with you about this this was definitely my favorite season, because I feel like the first 2 seasons, listen, when the Mandalorian started, if there had been no Grogu, I probably would not have kept watching, because it was, it was presented as a spaghetti western, and it was very comical at times, and didn't really have the seriousness either trilogy. Do you know what I mean? And I just felt like it was leaning towards more of the just kind of like the hokiness. As it progressed, like in season 2, it did pick up a little bit more. It started out again like with the Timothy Oliphant as like the sheriff, and then kind of finding his way and actually finishing his mission with Grogu, only for Grogu to come back. Like I feel like even the episodes within the 5 episodes within Boba Fett, which were the best part of Boba Fett, even though I'm rocking the Boba Fett jacket. I just like the jacket. I felt like that's when it really began to get legs. It really got its strength when Mando got the Darksaber, and then he moved on to like really kind of figuring out his mission. They got him Bo-Katan and him understanding his purpose with Mandalore. So this really had a huge arc for me in terms of like following the Mandalorian journey. I think the action, the story, the scope of everything we saw, even like the end, like with Moff Gideon and his costume and the TIE, like the upgraded TIE fighter, like everything was just this was by far fantastic.
I understand what you're saying, Courtney. Like, it did a lot that it needed to do for the story of the entire show of Mandalorian. And the name certainly is not just about Mando, Din Djarin anymore. It's about the entire group as a unit, I totally get that. And I'm not in disagreement with anything you said in that regard. It's just that the execution of it, sometimes I'm like, where are we going with this? And why are we spending so much time here?
Agreed.
Even like the episode with Lizzo and Jack Black, it's like, I enjoyed it, but it's like, but why did... It's just like confusing sometimes, the execution of it. It's a little bit clunky. It feels like to me that there are definitely like different writers for each episode sometimes. Like obviously you have your writer's room, and you know more about this than I do, Courtney, being someone who's in the writer's room actively right now. Like you've got your episodes and you've got writers assigned to each episode, and you did get that sense while watching this. It didn't feel like a consistent voice sometimes, and I think that's what threw me off. But the overall quality of the show, in terms of like when they're going into the action, when they're showing us the planet, it was definitely cinematic, like theatrical quality to me. So, it's got its highs and lows like anything else, but I definitely noticed the lows.
I totally agree with you in terms of the superfluous episodes, gosh, the one with Elia Kane
and Dr. Pershing.
That guy whose name I never remember.
Dr. Pershing.
Thank you, Coruscant.
Dr. Krishnan.
Get it right, Courtney. Hey, just all I'm going to say is Knights of Ren.
Hey, listen, nobody disagreed with me. Let me just say, I apologize for getting it wrong.
I didn't fucking know.
But anyway, I didn't know. They were being all red. I forgot.
It's just like, I got to they look exactly the same to me, to be fair. And when you said Knights of Ren, you said it with such confidence, and in the comments,
I thought they were Kylo Ren's henchman, but again, you did say it with such confidence, so we trusted you, Courtney. I'm just kidding.
I didn't know. I said it with a question mark. I said, those? And everybody agreed.
I said it was in one fight sequence during the season. I said it was the Armorer's first fight, and I asked both of you. I said, was this the Armorer's first fight? You both said yes, and in the comments section, I got roasted. I'm like, oh, okay, nobody came to my defense and said Jabby, and Courtney agreed with me, but it was my fault.
Courtney's defense, I just saw them as the Heinz ketchup troopers. I'm not even thinking.
Listen, they were the shiny red dudes, okay? So
right,
they're just the shiny red dudes.
There you go.
But in terms of going back to your comment about the episodes that didn't really mean anything, I think it goes back to the legacy of the spaghetti western element. They had to throw that back in order to tie in so that it's not completely different from the first 2 seasons. Even though one writer is credited for this particular episode, they all kind of like either give it another edit over or add in a new line or like toss in, maybe change a little bit of the scope of it. And then there's like a script coordinator and all that. And then of course, then the showrunner, Dave Filoni, is ultimately going to have his say. Though I do totally understand, like you saying, like sometimes the voice was different. I mean, even like the Mon Calamari episode with like, or the beginning part where the little dude and his girlfriend, wasn't that was his season, right?
that was that. I think that was the Christopher Lloyd, Jack Black Lizzo episode.
Yeah, okay. So that whole episode, like, there were just elements that were, I think, supposed to be different. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, I think too, like, just going off both what you're both saying, like, seasons 1 and 2, there's not one episode I don't want to watch every second of because I feel like it's very focused, it's very contained. It's like it's staying on the main plot for the most part. It's like I said, it's focused. But on this season, I feel like if I rewatch this season on my own, I'm gonna watch all the episodes, but there's parts where I feel like I can skip over because it's not pertinent to the main plot and it's not as focused as the first 2 seasons. And that's where I said it's not as up to standard as like what I said. But again, there are some episodes.
Grogu helping Lizzo with that game, that was essential. That was essential to Mandalorian.
Anything Grogu is in, any scene he's in, he's wonderful. He steals it. Like, even in this scene, like, even though the shiny red guys, who I don't know who they are, were attacking him. What is it?
I think it's Petronian. I don't
Ketchup
know.
Troopers.
Yeah, the Ketchup Troopers. So when those guys were fighting and Grogu was, he was holding on, he was doing his best. That did give me a little bit of a flashback to when Yoda was fighting Count Dooku. You know what I mean? And you don't remember that? The scene where like the little poles were on top of him and he had to like try and use the force. That's the moment that reminded me, not the actual battle, because obviously Yoda was badass in that scene. I just thought that Grogu did a really good job, and especially that scene with the fire. Do you know what I mean? Where he
that was
used
amazing.
The force to shield them. Because to your point, her little shield protected all of them.
Yeah.
No, Grogu did. Didn't Grogu.
No, it was great. That was a very Guardians of the Galaxy moment for me, in a beautiful way. I wasn't expecting it to pan out exactly like that. Like, I knew they were going to be all right, but like to see visually, like the way Andrew pointed out, just like visually how beautiful it was just awesome. To like that was a nice surprise, because I knew they would be all right, but the way they showed it to us was not what I expected.
No, and you can also tell in this episode too, they really went all out with the budget, and like Jabby was saying, like, I really feel like we could have watched this episode in particular. I definitely could have watched this episode in theaters on an IMAX screen, preferably. I mean,
they did not disappoint. The way that they staged everything was, I mean, even from just like a writing standpoint, in my opinion, I guess Courtney could speak to this better than me, again, being an active writer in the writer's room. Like, structurally, I felt like it stacked very, very well. Like, it's like one thing led to the other in a very a domino effect, but in a nice domino effect, as opposed to feeling like absurd or out of nowhere. Everything just kind of coalesced in a beautiful way by the end of the episode, and it speaks to the overall title of the episode, or title of the show, which is The Mandalorian, and she said it. Bo-Katan was like, we're stronger together. It didn't matter that they lost the Darksaber. Like, that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is how they are together as a people.
Honestly,
not just her on her own as this leader. Go ahead.
I'm glad they took the Darksaber out of play. I really am, because I think it did create division at some point. Somebody was going to challenge her in trying to get that Darksaber at some point, somewhere down the line. So the fact that they removed that, they can just build themselves up again as one people, one culture. And I thought that scene was incredibly powerful. I still don't know if Moff Gideon is actually dead. I feel like he got one clone somewhere else, but
I actually wondered if that was a clone that they were fighting.
Oh, yeah, I thought that too. Yeah.
I know it was a little bit controversial this season with some people that, Bo-Katan was now the lead of the show, if you will, and Din Djarin was being pushed to the side, but I really loved what they did with her character all season, and also, too, I love the bond and the relationship that was being built with her and Din. I thought it was really, did a good job of just fleshing out the characters and the relationship. You really felt that they gained just a newfound respect, maybe even a little hint of romantic interest, possibly. But again, I just feel like the three of them came together like truly as a family, and I just watching that moment of just Grogu doing the force field and then watching them battle the guards there, and then Moff Gideon, like it felt like such a perfect ending with the three of them helping each other to do that final battle. I loved it. It was just so epic for me.
Moff Gideon's voice when he had the full armor and everything, it was like a combo of Darth Vader and Kylo Ren. Didn't you think? Like the voice, the modulation, all that stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was the one thing. Like his armor, it didn't.
It still reminded me of season 2 a little bit. No.
Well, I was gonna say I didn't really love that it looked so much like Darth Vader. That to me actually was I wish it would have looked a little bit less, something that was, distinctly his own. And I know that it wasn't completely Vader, but I don't know. It was just kind of okay.
There was a lot of low-key nostalgia in this episode, though. And that was part of it. The little robot that's walking around and stuff like that, down to, like you mentioned, R2-D2, or not R2-D2, R5 opening up the things. Even those things that are opening up is from episode 1, like, and the look of the space station or whatever it is, looks like the ship in episode 4, A New Hope.
The Death
when
Star.
Luke, Leia running around the Death Star.
Yeah.
No, not the Death Star. The Death Star is circular.
No, he's talking about the interior though, not the actual.
Oh, you mean the interior? Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's baked with nostalgia all up in this. So I'm like, him looking like Darth Vader is just par for the course with all the other things going on.
I mean, maybe it was a little like Darth Vader, but I like this. I actually liked Moff Gideon's costume personally, but I mean, I don't know if I'm going to rent it for Halloween. I don't know if I'm going to rent it for Halloween as a costume, but I thought it looked cool. But
it's definitely shiny.
So in a month or two, I won't remember like the look of it, but in the moment, I felt like it was at the service of the story. It did what it needed to do for this, season, for this episode. Because it created a very difficult battle for the Mandalorian, for Din Djarin and everybody. Like I thought it was cool as like a level up in terms of like a nemesis that they have to face off with.
Well, and I also felt like there was a bit of a plot hole in the whole red herring of like why was the Beskar in the ship that the Jedi fighter found that was carrying Moff Gideon when he escaped, and you find the Beskar in there. I felt like that was a little bit of a drop because we did spend a lot of spend a lot of time speculating as to who was the mole, who was the person who helped him. Was there someone in Mandalore who, was going to turn? And it just...
Oh, yeah, we never got that question answered,
We had to answer it. I answered it for myself in terms of like, oh, he just mined Mandalore and made himself some Beskar armor. So, like, that's what I came to at the end, but I just felt like that was a lost moment. Like, it was kind of a plot hole.
I mean, his forces had already taken over Mandalore when he was being already captured, right? So when he was captured on that ship and he was being rescued, because clearly it was his own forces, even though it's technically what you say a plot hole.
I think you're right, Andrew.
Yeah, but so my point being is if his forces are already mined on Mandalore, like they could have had Beskar, and that's the Beskar that's if it wasn't a mole,
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, but I'm just saying, and not that, you don't always need them to say, this is specifically what happened. You don't always need that. I totally understand that. And I do agree with you. I think he was the one spreading the lie that Mandalore was uninhabitable because he did have a base there. He was building his TIE fighters. He was like creating his new army.
I wanted to ask you, Courtney, do you think that the clones were set up enough? Because for me, I was never like feeling any kind of fear or trepidation about them.
Yeah.
So when they were taken out, I wasn't even certain they were taken out. I thought that they were coming alive for a second. So for me, that was sort of like this weird distraction for a moment. And that to be included in his epic monologue, his villain monologue of like, ooh, we could have been in a force to be reckoned with because with the force and all. I'm like, I don't know why you're saying all this. It meant nothing to me before this little speech.
It made me think of the moment in... what was it, Civil War, when Bucky and Captain America went down into that little Zemo and they found all those
the Winter Soldiers,
all the Winter Soldier program. Like that's what it made me think of. So honestly, it was kind of a little like overdone.
I mean, they had that whole episode where we spent the entire episode with Elia Kane and Dr. Pershing, where obviously it was supposed to be a setup for this, but in the end, it just felt like it was. Again, just a bit of a letdown.
It was a little letdown, and I just didn't care because I didn't care about Dr. Pershing. That's his name. Still don't know. I still don't care. Him and or Elia Kane. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened in that episode. Like I'm gonna have to like rewatch it again in order to understand what Dr. Pershing had to do. Obviously, he's the one that created the clones, and that's what Elia Kane wanted him to continue working on and finish these clones that he was like merging with the Force somehow with obviously the midichlorians. They find the midichlorians.
Well, she needed,
I don't know.
Yeah, she needed the cloning technology and all that stuff so that way she could get it to Moff Gideon so that way he could do this. But again,
continue.
I don't know.
It was just kind of like it was unnecessary. We didn't need them.
I think that the only reason to mention those clones and to show us the clones is to indicate the possibility that Moff Gideon's still alive and that the person that Bo-Katan and Mando were fighting was a clone. You could have cut that out. It would have been all the same to me. Like,
absolutely.
If you cut out the scene with the clones, if you cut out that part with the speech, it would have been exactly the same story. It makes no difference.
Well, I mean, if you're going to do something like that with a clone, then it shouldn't have been Dr. Pershing. It should have been a Kaminoan. Because Kaminoans are the ones that created the technology that created the clone soldiers, based off of Jango Fett.
Just again, I did enjoy this season. Again, not as much as seasons 1 or 2. I really, really love what they did with Bo-Katan, and just again the relationship between her and Din Djarin. I also like how they fleshed out more of Grogu and just his power level, and again, just how they really felt like by the end they really did become a family, even though by the end they're kind of separated with Bo-Katan, but obviously we know once we get to season 4, they're going to be together with her again, at least having some adventures with her, I would imagine. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Like I said, I really enjoyed this season. It still is incredibly strong. I do believe that we didn't necessarily need that section with the clones because Moff Gideon is a strong enough character to carry on just basic villainry. Like I didn't need that element. Just the idea of him getting loose and coming back was strong enough for me. I love the fact that we did get to see Grogu growing not just in his powers but in his confidence level. He really struggled at the beginning of the season and his fear and not knowing what to do, but he was trusted with several things. Like he saved Din Djarin twice, so like he really came into his own and made his own choice to want to follow the Mandalorian way. I do think that Bo-Katan was an incredible addition to this show, regardless, and it's just my own opinion. I think that what she brought to it enhanced the idea of what it means to be the Mandalorian, not just Din Djarin, but just as overall as a people. I love that we got to see different Mandalorians and we got more from the Armorer, that we merged the clans, and it ultimately showed the power of Din Djarin and who he is and how he was able to be supportive in this journey of their planet as a whole. And I love that we went back to Mandalore.
Grogu really Grogu'd in this season, huh?
You're stupid.
that was cheesy enough that it worked.
It did, exactly.
Overall, I like this season. I don't know if this episode measured up to the one with Lizzo, but fantastic. I had a good time. I'm just happy that when they needed to, they spent their money. And it didn't feel like the visual effects artists were being rushed. It felt like they were given enough time to make this look like high quality. Overall, I enjoyed it, and I would definitely revisit some of the episodes.
Well, what did you guys think of season 3? Was it your favorite? Was it your least favorite? What are some of your favorite episodes? What are some of your predictions for season 4? We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, and if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and use the Force to hit the like button. We'd really appreciate it. And I'm Andrew Flash Gordon, and this is
Courtney Scott Wright,
and that is
Jabby Kaway.